Now, there is something we should make it clear so that we'll not make a mistake. If one who represents the personality, that petty person, with a name, male or female, no, our real self can do that. Will spread and raise itself to these dimensions of the self, real self, now super consciousness, is reaching those heights in himself, in the kingdom of the heavens, which is in us, in our own nature. He enters in what I would say the eternal present, the eternal now. He frees himself from the limitations of what we call time as past, present and future. Now I define them well, but it's very difficult for you to grasp the idea unless you reach that stage yourself. Because by words and even reading books and all that, you cannot know anything unless you know it yourself. I will give just an example which I have given many, many times. If I try to explain to you what's something sold, how can I do that? If I present to you volumes of books of scientists, H2, H3, mixing that and that, it gives us something sold and like that. Read as many books as you like. Many of you have read many occult books of the East until now, and you found out nothing. So, it's not reading or hearing or being taught of things that you learn them. So volumes and volumes of books cannot tell you what is something sold. But if you come to me and they have just a little salt somewhere here and tell you, just put your finger on your tongue, make it wet, put it on this salt, then put it back on your tongue and you put it, and I told you now, what salt? You will never say, now I know what is something salt. Why? Because you have experienced it. So I'm telling you, teachers, gurus, masters, religion, everything are nothing but guides leading you somewhere. You have to know personally, otherwise nobody can explain to you more. And Joshua Emmanuel the Christ said, know the truth. You must know the truth. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free from illusions, not the teaching of others. I can say that whatever we have is not valuable to guide you somewhere, but that's not enough. You have to realize what it is in it, then reject it if it is not worthy experiencing it and knowing it, or accept it, and by accepting it is not enough. Practice. And by practicing, you will know. It's by putting your finger on the tongue, on the salt, and then back again, that you know what is something salt. Nobody can explain to you otherwise. Let's say now, yes, you are right. Tell us how is that. That's an example, very, very nice. We know it. It's enlightening example. How can we come to this experience we are saying? I have given it many, many times. By certain exercises in meditation, always be careful in what I call observation, using the mind properly in the proper meditation, reaching these stages we call inspiration, ecstasis, contemplation. Then you come to the understanding yourself. You know what is everything as it is, and you know who you are now. Then you take out of yourself that dirty, very dirty sometimes, coat you are wearing, considering it yourself, which I call it personal egoism. You throw it away, say, now, I'm clean, and I know who I am now. With that coat, wrapping your self, you have the idea of death, because sooner or later you have to cast it out. And as long as you consider the coat that it is yourself, you'll be afraid of the idea of death. But when you take it out, you know you are immortal. You know that you are God. Now, I had a certain question from somebody. Do I take off that dirty coat? You say we call it egoism. Egoism of the personality. By the death of the material body? Is this coat of egoism the material body? I say no, it isn't. It is something different. Because you carry it with you in the psychical plane. And that coat is leading you either to your paradise, to your shell paradise, or to your shell hell. So you don't cast the egoism so easily, even by casting away from the self the material body. Do I cast this personality, egoism, the illusion about the self, in the psychical plane? Yes, you will. The heavy coat you can cast away, but you have another one under it, again belonging to the egoism. You have to take that out also, which is what I call the body of emotions. So you are not free even in what I call the psychical plane, because in the psychical plane you have the shell paradises and the shell hells. You are in it, in them. Shell, because they resemble a shell, wearing a coat, an overcoat, then a coat. Well, we take that out also. There is a shirt now, which may not be white. It might be white, clean, but it may not be white. Shirt, which is the noetical body. You have to take that out also to feel naked and God. So, don't think that by what we call death of the material body you are free. You are not, because there is the psychical world, and in between the psychical world and the material is the ethereal world. We don't stay there, we just pass from there, but we stay in the psychical world. And you have just to be under the same troubles as we are on the material plane. Then, there, but now, we are there also. We are living at the same time we are living in our material body, more we are living in our psychical world, in our psychical shell, in our psychical body. It's not a matter now of changing place in space, but it's changing dimensions. We are going from the third dimensional space, to what I call the fourth dimensional sense of place, not space, in which, of course, plasticing there, you find out that space, the idea of space, is gone away. Yet it is giving the sense of a place, good or bad, hell or paradise. But I said in a lesson that nobody will find himself after casting away his material body to any hell or any paradise he is not already now. When we pass over to the other side, Don't think that there are certain archangels and angels accusing us and devils catching us to classify us in this kind of hell or in this just pleasure-giving paradise. No, the archangels of the elements are loving us, are working for us to provide us with our material body, with our psychical body, and with noetical body. They are working. They are helping us. They are loving us. They are not accusers. Who is accusing us? Our own self is accusing us. This is the real truth. So, one finds himself or herself just where he or she is already, only casting out the material body. So, is not a place we can just define the so-called psychical world of our planet. Of course it is. The whole planet and many thousands of kilometers around it. But it doesn't touch any other psychical world of another heavenly body of our solar system, the psychical world. And where's the nautical world? In us. We are in it. Now, we are using the super substance of the mind. We are living now at the same time in the noetical world. But studying it, we call it psychonoetical, because there cannot be emotions and desires unless there is mind in it. That's why in certain books you will find psychonoetical, not only psychical. And if we separate it, it is just to study them separately. So our hell or our paradise, our self-hell or self-paradise is composed of noetical mind substance and psychical substance. Now, in us. And Joseph Manuel the Christ said, the kingdom of the heavens is in you. He didn't look at any place in space. In you. Now it's the most difficult problem. In us. Where is that in us? We know ourselves just a little limited mass of matter we call the material body. What do we know of our psychical body? I wish I could explain to you more, but you will not understand because there are not words to explain. And what's the noetical body? Again, I come to the example. You have to put your finger on your tongue and taste it and know what it is. Lest you live. You learn to live what I call self-consciously in the psychical world. With the psychical body, you will never be able to know what is the psychical body. You can know much about the material body. Just getting a book of anatomy, you can know much about it. But so this is to know much about the psychical body of yours before you live in it, you shape it, you make it just an independent from the material body vehicle for expressing yourself. And this is the work of a seeker of the truth. The same thing will happen with your noetical body. What I can only tell you is both the noetical body and the psychical body have a form, because nothing can exist without having a form. A form, but what's a form now? A form is a phenomenon in the material world, but what is that form of myself in the psychical world? What kind of space it occupies? It's very hard to think of it. What is it? As you are using the material body subconsciously without knowing it, you are using already subconsciously your psychical body. If a fellow passes away, I had many times this just experiences, passes over. I had this. And 3 sons, the one is in Australia, the other is in England, and the other is in the America. And they just want to communicate with their father, who has passed over. Of course, they just calculate the time to coincide at the same time. They go to experts, who call them mediums, and the father is talking with the 3 of them at the same time. Where was he that moment? In Australia? In England? In America? I had this experience. He was speaking and talking, revealing secrets which they didn't know to them, to the 3 of them, but the existence of some gold he has hidden to go and get it. They got it. They came and they found it in Cyprus. Where was he? We communicated with him, asking him, did you see your sons? Yes, of course, they came to me. Came to me. Where? They came to him. Where were you? In his shell room, in the psychical plane. He thinks they came to him. When of course they revealed this to some of the priests, they told me it's the devil. It was not your father who spoke to you. But our father had revealed to us that he had a bag of gold and we went and found it. Yes, the devil can do that. They have asked me, was it our father? I said, definitely it was your father. But where did he find us? I said, it's difficult to explain to you what it means, place in the psychical plane, and what it means, place in the material plane. You'll never understand unless you know what is the difference between the 3-dimensional world from the 4-dimensional world. It doesn't only need the mind and meditation, but observation, much observation. Never jump from conclusions to conclusions and ideas from ideas unless you are sure. Because as there are physical laws on the material plane, there are psychical laws in the psychical plane and noetical laws in the noetical plane. And all the realms is at the what? Of existence, because these are worlds of existence, are well ruled by this absolute infinite super intelligence we call the logos, God, in its 2 expressions as we can understand, as El Shaddai, logos, or Shekinah, that means Holy Spirit. I'm using the words Jesus Christ Joshua was using, addressing the Jews. This is Aramaic. So, you find everywhere order in all the worlds. A real seeker of the truth, seeing all that, approaches these things with much reverence, because he knows if you ask them, who is God? What's God? He would say, I know. Where is God? In me, in you, and everywhere. Unfortunately, the first Christians, of course the apostles writing the Gospels in the Greek language, all of them, only a few parts of the Gospel according to Matthew is written in Aramaic, have taken out many great truths. but you can find them in the cosmic consciousness. You can contact Joshua Emmanuel the Christ now, because he's here, everywhere, in us. It's just only raising our petty little self-consciousness now to our real self, super-consciousness. Then you can see it. When Joshua Emmanuel the Christ was preaching, stretching out his hands, saying to all of them, feeling himself as the El Shaddai, the Logos, says, my most beloved ones, offsprings of mine. Now, they leave something and they have taken out something else. And he says, I am the Lord. You are God in you. You are being. You are being self. You will love me, the Lord, in you, as you are being, and love me as the being of every other human being around you. That's why Jesus said, we are all. He was guiding us to the common logos selfhood, taking us out from the just but smelling mud of this so-called subconsciousness in the world of separateness. We enter in a different now condition of life. Now, we'll not make the mistake that many Buddhists are making this mistake. Is going our present day personality we love so much, losing it? Not it. Its influences we are losing. The time and place impressions we are losing. Not the real, even petty self receiving the impressions. We are not losing it. But finding the kingdom of the heaven which is in us, everything will be granted to us. We are not going to lose even our present day personality as Mary, Helen, George, and Alex. Because when you reach that absolute selfhood in those things, you know what you are as God. You know what you are in those splendid realms. But if somebody will ask you, who are you? You'll say, I'll not explain you who I am now because you'll not understand. But I'll tell you, I am that fellow because that you'll understand, because that you know. I'm not losing even my personality. And a proof of it, when you reach that stage, you remember all your past incarnations, names, thoughts, way of living, which it means you are not losing anything. You are gaining everything. So reaching those, I would call it stages, degrees of splendor, you know everything, because God knows everything. And you are God. I don't say you are becoming God. You are not going to become something you are not. Now you realize what you are. I wish I would be allowed to speak more on these things, but Yochanan is not going to say more. Not that he is keeping secret things. You will not understand and you will be more confused. So I'm asking now again, what's life? What I do is just show the way. Show the way, which means you will have that will, I don't call it desire, to go that way. He said, I am the way, life and truth. She said that in Greek. He said, εγώ είμαι η οδός και η αλήθεια και η ζωή. So, he had shown the way. One can show you the way. Don't expect that one will get you on his shoulders and carry you. Because this is what most of the people want to, from someone guiding them to do. They tell you, masters, gurus, call them what you like, avatars, call them what you like, can be only guides, even books, guides. You have to cover this way and go. And this way is, I'll put it now in the right way. Instead of using the mind in the wrong way, now enslaving it in the desires and in the emotions, making that slave of your time and place, stupid egoism, personal egoism, free it, and you now, not influenced by your material personal egoism, start using it in the proper way. Use it as a mirror, first of all, to see your real self reflected in it. And that know everything concerning the self, who you are, what you are. What you do it is just do it using your own nature, the willpower and observation. Now, using the mind as the proper meditation in introspection, again, all the time you have to see everything holding the torch of observation. Nothing must escape from you. And then you'll find the way. When you find the way, yes, there you can find what with the right I'll call happiness. There is not such a thing as happiness in the material world, or in the psychical world, or in the nautical worlds. Yes, in these worlds you will find hells and paradises of our own creation. We are to blame. The Mount Super Substance is the greatest gift given to the human beings by the Father. Now we must know how to make good use of it. Maybe studying the parable of the prodigal son, that will mean something to you. Now we'll make an exercise. We are using all the time the mind, subconsciously. Now we will use the mind consciously, not yet self-consciously, consciously, by using what I'll call visualization. It's not a difficult thing to do it. It's inside the present-day personality. You can bring in your mind, that means by visualization, seeing a person you love very much or a person you don't like much, and you have differences with that person. So subconsciously now you can use what I call visualization. Now, relax completely the material body. And relax completely your emotional body, which means all differences you have with certain persons, silence them down. If you bring certain persons by visualization before your mind, in your mind, then your psychical body will start its violent vibrations, and then things which are in you will get up in the surface, that hatred, anger, and many things. And you say to friends, don't mention me that fellow, it makes me angry. That's what I mean. Silence down the emotional body and bring fellows with whom you have differences in front of you. Be calm, quiet. See that fellow, calm that fellow down, because that fellow now in your imagination is attached to that fellow. See from your heart light, golden light, and rosy light, lighting everything around you, and see that light lighting the face of that fellow, one or more, it doesn't matter how many you bring, and see that fellow under that light of your heart, which is not your light, it is of the light of the world. I am the light of the world, which is love. See that face happy, smiling to you, and then express yourself in words mentally. I love you, because you are a God as I am one. Never mind that that we both have mistakes, and you are under the illusions of time and space. I love you. Never mind, I said that we have differences. We are not going again to mix up ourselves with those differences. You are simply now on higher realms, expressing you my divine nature to your divine nature that tell you I love you. Do that every day. For certain people, you have certain differences. Whether you are right or you are not right. They are right or they are not right. That doesn't matter. Differences do exist. And you can put down the fire by water love and not by fire, which is hating. That doesn't mean you undertake the obligation of approach again and having your time and place personalities fight again. No need. You are a self now. You don't need any meeting with those fellows on the material plane. Now, if you think you could cope with this case again, and the differences will go away. By doing that, you may influence that fellow and approach you. That's a different matter if you want just to settle up your debts between you. But many people are not yet ready. But send love, the love of God, in you to your brother, in you, because having him in your mind by visualization is in you. Hating him, the hatred is in you, and hating is a very, very bad poison which is killing even your material bodies. That's why Joshua Banner of the Christ said, love your enemies. They may consider themselves your enemies, but you will not have enemies. You have only loving brothers and sisters under the influence of illusions in the three-dimensional world we are living in.